and there's a lot of diversity, and so there might be getting a lot of phone calls. You know, the business immigration attorney might be getting phone calls, but he doesn't do deportation defense, or he doesn't do this. So then he might then refer those cases to you and vice versa. So I thought that was really helpful. Like, I get a lot of cases from someone that does something different than I, but gets a lot of phone calls. And I agree, like your family and friends and business associations, I go to conferences, and oftentimes they have networking panels for solo attorneys where you can all meet and talk about, you know, what you're doing, but they might live in Sacramento and they're getting calls for someone in San Francisco. So they're going to remember you from the conference, and they're going to say, call this person. So I think that, you know, there's many different ways to go about it. You could just be living your life naturally, and just constantly people might be sort of, once they know that you do something, you know, wherever I go, I feel like I'm constantly running into people who need the type of work that I do. So it's just sort of, I don't really get a separation in my life from it, but it's fine because I love it. So I think that's sort of, you know, you're always on in a way.
And to add to what you're saying, and the advice about just be yourself, you are who you are, and if you can be a resource both for your clients and also for the people who are in your network, that will really, really help. So people that you know, your colleagues, your business partners, anybody really that you meet, if you can be helpful to them, they like to reciprocate, and so they will help you out, and you'll be, you know, in their heads if there's a client or a potential case, or even if they just have a question. And they say, they might just call you and say, hey, I know that you don't practice this area, but do you know someone who does that? And if you can help them and be that kind of resource, you'll get that back in droves, and people will start referring you cases. So, you know, I think that in terms of, you know, being introverted or extroverted, as long as you don't isolate, and you will come across in the legal profession, there are some solos who open a solo practice because they really want to be by themselves, and you will come across them. But for the most part, if you can, you know, get to know other people, get to know colleagues, it will really help. It's great because if you have a question, that will be a resource for you, whether it be substantive or business-wise, it'll be really helpful. And if you can be helpful back, it will come back to you.
So the next thing I want to talk about is substantive knowledge. So obviously it's important to know your subject area, but if you're starting out right out of law school or fairly soon out of law school, I mean, what did you do? How did you get the resourcefulness to find the answers? And I guess it goes a little bit back to confidence too. How did you actually find the answers? Maybe I should ask Jody this. How did you find the answers? You knew that you could find some of them when you were at the firm, but you must have run across issues that you were like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. So how